So, welcome, ladies, to the June edition of the Dream Builders Circle. Our topic this month is I am worthy. Last month we talked about just getting back to me and who am I, and been busy for so long, sometimes forget about who we are. So we worked on that. We had a wonderful guest speaker, Aggie, who shared just some tips about getting back to ourselves. This week we're going to work, or this month we're working on our worth. And tonight we have a very special guest to join us just to talk about how to get back to ourselves. And I love how God gives us what we need exactly when we need it. I knew that I was looking for a speaker for this month that could do some tapping and just some different maybe exercises with us. And I reached out to this beautiful woman in the group that we are a part of together, the um, Empowered Entrepreneurs Sell More, I believe it's called, with Becky Davidson. It's a wonderful group of women that just come together to support each other. And I saw Tanya and I just reached out to her and asked if she would be our special guest for this month and just talk about what she does to help women. And she graciously said yes. I loved her energy right off the bat. I loved her warmth, and I can see what she's doing to help women in their lives in just such a special, special way. So I'm so excited to have her here with us tonight and just share a little bit about what she does to help women get through that midlife muck, as she calls it. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what Tanya does. She's an energy medicine practitioner, a transformational life coach, and breath work facilitator who specializes in supporting midlife women who feel stuck, unseen, or emotionally depleted. And who has ever felt like that? And me too. So, drawing from her own healing journey through the midlife muck, Tanya helps women clear emotional residue, reconnect with their inner wisdom, and reclaim their passion, purpose, and their power. Her work combines intuitive guidance with grounded tools like EFT, which is tapping, breath work, and energetic realignment, supporting her clients to come home to themselves and rise into the next chapter of life with clarity and confidence. So pleased to welcome Tanya to our group today. Tanya, I'll just give you, pardon me, the floor, and you can take it from here. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Judy, and thank you for having me in the group. I'm excited to support everybody today. And tonight, I'm not just going to talk to you and tell you and share about what I do. I'm going to actually take you through some exercises so that you can really get the idea of how these things work, and then you can implement them yourself. A big part of my work is not being the guru or being the healer, but I walk beside my clients and I want to empower you with the tools so that you can continue to do your healing on the battlefield of life, as I like to call it. So that might be the kitchen, that might be the workplace, the bedroom, wherever it occurs, that you can implement these tools wherever you need to. So thank you so much again for having me. I am so excited to be a part of the Dream Builder Circle, and it's an honor to be able to facilitate tonight. And Judy, from what I've met of you so far and knowing of your work and your community, you are such a gift. And what you offer to your community is just beyond words. I'm thankful for another person in the world shedding light and helping people heal. One of my biggest convictions is that when we as individuals heal, we contribute to the collective healing. That's going to be within our immediate circle, within our community, our world, our universe, galaxy, and beyond, light years beyond. And so my intention today is to help you remember that you matter. Your needs, your peace, your energy, it all matters. And so whether you're thriving or you're barely making it through the week, this is a safe place to land, to breathe, and to receive. And you've shown up for everybody else in your life. This moment is for you. And so I honor that you have shown up today to make that commitment to yourself and doing something for yourself. So thank you for being here. And so before I get into it, just a brief story about me of why I got into this work. I have several pieces to my story, and honestly, I always struggle of which piece I'm going to pull in. And after all these years, I have yet to figure out a concise way to put it in a nice little box and bow and be able to deliver it. So today I'm going to share just the first spark with you. And it started about halfway through my 25 years as a massage therapist. And it was about that halfway point that I began to notice something over and over again. And that is that my clients were carrying more than just tight muscles. And what I noticed is that they were carrying years of unspoken emotion, unresolved grief, and stress that no amount of body work could fully release. And don't get me wrong, it was such, and it's still an honor to be able to support people wherever they are. But I really had a calling to help at a deeper level. I didn't quite know exactly how that was going to go or what type of tool I was going to use. And it was around that same time that I started to feel my own midlife itch muck, starting to get that whisper that there's got to be something more. And so I have come to call that the midlife muck, as Judy has said. And during that process, I found my way to breath work, energy medicine, and emotional freedom work. I had been Reiki practitioner for much longer than that, but it was one of those things that in the clinical space, I was told wasn't needed. The chiropractors are going, you know what? Well, that's all great woo stuff, but that's not going to fix these people. And so I listened to that because I had to push through and I was building career doing all of that. And what I came to realize is that is one of my superpowers, one of my core convictions that I see time and time again of how important energy hygiene is to our overall well being. And so once I started pulling in all of these alternative pieces, that's when everything really changed. And I'm here because I've lived it. I've walked through the midlife muck, and I found that on the other side, that there was something I didn't even know was possible. And that's a life rooted in authenticity, freedom, and joy, and so much more that I didn't even know was there. And I felt a deep calling to help other women reclaim themselves, not by doing more, adding more to the to do list, but by guiding them back to their own inner wisdom. And that's through simple sacred moments like daily ritual, of which I'll go into a little bit today, and deeper transformational work that helps them release old patterns and reconnect with their truth and remember their inherent worth. And like I said, it's not about adding another thing on the to do list. It's about shifting from the inside out and healing at the root. And when we heal those root pieces, then that's what's going to create that lasting change that touches every part of our lives. And so, before I get into the ritual piece, I want to talk a little bit about the roots of unworthiness. And the reason why I want to talk about this is I find that so often this part isn't addressed, and so often, we're bringing up unworthiness, or you're hearing this in different spaces where you're not going deep, like you are in Judy's community. And we don't always realize ways that that may show up in our lives. And so, really, I think there's so many of these universal unworthiness pieces that are just under the surface for so many of us. And it's the quiet but persistent undercurrent that leaves us feeling that something's just kind of not right. And so you may not say the words out loud, I am unworthy. But how that energy looks or sounds like is maybe not feeling like you're enough, or maybe you should be further along in whatever it is in life or work or projects. Thinking something must be wrong with you, or that you have to earn rest, love, or belonging. And what I have found is that these stories often start very early in life. And oftentimes we've internalized those messages that we had to be the good girl, the caretaker, the high achiever. And maybe we learned that love was conditional based on performance, obedience, or self-sacrifice. Anybody here? I know I certainly have. And so, this worthiness wound is often passed down quietly from generation to generation through those expectations or the silencing of when you're not supposed to speak up and you sit quiet and you're not you're to be seen and not heard, or even in that striving for perfectionism. And so it can show up in daily life in over apologizing, even though when you've done nothing wrong, struggling to receive compliments or support, feeling like you have to prove yourself or constantly be doing something to feel valuable. And it can show up as that harsh inner self talk or needing things to be perfect in order to feel safe. It can also show up as putting your needs last and then blaming others or yourself for being depleted. And so you don't have to have it all together all the time. It's okay to feel into all of those things. And so if you recognize yourself in any of this, you're not alone, you're not broken, you are human. And this is, I want to say it's normal, but you're here to be supported. And tonight, we're not here to fix you, we're here to remember you, to come back to the truth that was never up for debate. And that is your worth. Your worth is truth. And so ritual can become one of the ways that we reclaim that truth, one sacred pause at a time. And so ritual could mean incense, altars, fancy things, a big ceremony, but it doesn't have to. I am a big fan of having simple everyday activities that we're already doing become ritual, or weaving simple ritual into things that we're already doing. And in that practical sacred pause, that you start to signal to your soul, to your body, that you are taking time for yourself and starting to reclaim what has been lost. And so, ritual is any act done with intention and attention. It's the moment that quietly says, I matter. And so, why does this even matter, especially in midlife? And that's because when life gets full of careers and giving and changing bodies and emotional overload, we will often vanish from our own calendar. We slowly slip to the bottom of our priority list and tending to everything and everyone else, while our own needs are in the background. And so, what I have found is that even giving yourself just 5 intentional minutes each day can shift your whole perspective, your whole mindset, and your whole rhythm. And what happens is your nervous system will start to soften, your energy will start to recalibrate, and you start to come back to you. And so I'd love to share a few simple ways that you can create sacred space in your day without adding more to your to-do list. And so before you even get out of bed, you can place your hand on your heart and say, I'm here. What do I need right now? What do I need right now? What do I need today? Then be still, listen, and feel into it. And then make it a plan to fit that in your day. So maybe it's saying no to commitments or rescheduling some things or taking that longer walk that you've been aching to do. So also drinking your morning tea or coffee in silence and just breathing deeply for 3 minutes with your focus on your heart center. And another way that you can bring ritual in is by writing one truth in your journal. You don't have to write a whole page, just a sentence, something that's going to anchor you in what's real. If you don't journal, having a note field in your phone that you can just jot something down so that you have that manifestation in the physical realm to come back to. And so another way is taking a walk without your phone and really connecting with nature and letting that natural regulation happen. And so, of course, meditation is a great way to come back to yourself, even if it's just for 2 minutes, and just let your breath slow down and deepen and bring you back into yourself. And as women, I often find sometimes the only time we have during the day to ourselves is in our bathroom time. So on the way to the restroom, when you're having private time, take advantage of just really being present and checking in with your energy, taking some deep breaths and paying attention to how you're feeling. And it's all about coming back to who you are. And so I would like to know, are you already doing rituals, maybe without even realizing it, that you could bring more intention and present to? If you want to share them, drop them in the chat, you can certainly do that. But oftentimes there's things that we're already doing that just slowing down or taking extra time for can make a big difference for that. All right. So we are going to start into the tapping session. And so Judy says she meditates every day and loves to take walks. Me too. I'm right there with you. I do the same thing. Well, I'm recovering from foot surgery, so my walks are more like therapy walks. If I can only go this far, this long, but I'm getting better. All right, so I want to take you through this tapping practice that will help us clear emotional weight of guilt and invite the nervous system into a state of calm where your worthiness can be remembered and reclaimed. So, before we begin, I want to share what we're about to do and why. So we'll be practicing something called EFT, short for emotional freedom technique, and it's also known as tapping. And this is a simple but powerful tool that helps you calm your nervous system, release emotional residue that can build up over time, especially during this time of life. And when you're juggling so much and still trying to hold it all together, stuff builds up. So if you're not clearing, you're not releasing, then it's just going to keep building up until the dam finally breaks. And we all pretty much know what happens at that point. So you can think of EFT as a bridge between the emotional body and the energetic body. And so it works by tapping your fingertips on specific acupressure points on the body that correspond to energy meridians used in traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. And these points are going to signal safety to the brain. And they tell your body, I am safe now. I can let this go. And as we tap, I'll guide you to repeat simple phrases out loud that speak to the emotions that we're already feeling that we need to shift, like guilt, pressure, unworthiness. And then we'll also bring in a new belief of worthiness. And so as we go through the process, it's normal to feel emotions coming up. And what started off as one emotion can shift into another emotion. It's common to feel sensations in your body, which is all completely normal. It's just energy moving. And you might experience a yawn, a sigh, even a burp, or feel a wave of calm or just relief. And this is all part of the process. And so one of the things I do in my EFT practice, it includes a brain integration sequence. And this is going to be a series of gentle eye movements that help the left and right side of your brains sync up. And we do this because when we're in flight, fight, or freeze mode, which is common when we're dealing with stress, caregiving, hormonal changes, our brains become less integrated. We can't think clearly, old emotional patterns get stuck. And when your brain and your body come into alignment, the shifts from tapping become more lasting. It's like preparing the ground so that what you're going to plant can actually take root. So as we go through the process, I invite you to mirror my movements and repeat my words. And you don't have to get it perfectly. And if I'm using words like around emotions or energy that don't resonate, please use your own words. It's the most important thing is to connect with whatever it is that's coming up that you're ready to release. All right, so let's take a deep breath in through the nose and let it go out the mouth. And if you feel like you want to close your eyes to go deeper within and to connect, you can certainly do that. And now bring to mind something that's been weighing on you lately. Maybe it's guilt, unworthiness, pressure, or that familiar feeling of not being good enough. And whatever it is that's been weighing on you, just bring awareness to it. Don't judge it. We're not going to analyze it, but just become aware of it. Tune into it. And now scan your body. Where do you feel that weight, tension, uneasiness, constriction? It could be in your chest, in your throat, in your belly, your head, your thighs, wherever. Just notice once again without judgment and just let your awareness rest there. And as you tune into it, check with yourself on a scale of 0 to 10, how intense is that distress? How uncomfortable is it? And if you want to drop your number in the chat, you can do that. That'll help me gauge of where everybody is. But that's certainly optional. And as we go through the tapping process, it's important to stay deeply connected with this feeling. And I like to use the weed analogy. So if you have a weed in your garden and you go in and you just pull it up by the foliage and take all the green away, and you're like, great, I got rid of the weed. And you come back a couple days later, a week later, and it's starting to grow back. That means you haven't gotten all of the root system. So the same thing when we're going through tapping, the more you can connect with whatever it is you're wanting to release, the more you're able to pull up those roots and really uproot the weed. And then the more that we can uproot it, then the more fertile ground, open space we have to put our new belief or program in. All right, so thank you for the numbers there in the chat. I appreciate that. So we're going to move into the tapping. I'm going to guide you point by point, and you're just going to repeat after me and follow my movements. And once again, if you're wanting to keep I would say if you want to keep your eyes closed, if you've done this before, that's great, but you do need to see the points that I'm tapping to be able to do it. And once again, if those words that I'm using don't resonate, just switch them up, trust your body, and then trust your experience. So we are going to come to the armpit creases, right where the shoulders meet the chest. And this first part is about accepting where we are in this situation. And that's a big step because if we're not accepting or we're not aware of what's happening, we can't shift the pattern. So you're going to repeat after me. Even though I'm feeling this, you would insert your feeling. Maybe it's unworthiness, the belief that I'm not enough, the shame that I can't always explain. Even though I'm feeling this, I accept myself. Even though I feel this guilt for wanting more, even though I feel it hard to slow down sometimes, I accept myself. One more time on that. Even though I feel, insert your challenge, even though I feel this, I accept myself. Good. And now you're going to start tapping the side of your hand like this. We call this the karate chop move. And you're going to repeat after me. I am choosing to release this unworthiness, this shame, whatever came up for you. I am choosing to release this, all of its roots and origins, and all that it means and does to me. I am choosing to release anything that's blocking me from releasing this feeling that I'm not enough or this unworthiness, all of the roots and origins, and all that it means and does to me. Good. And now we're going to come up to the inside corner of the eyebrows. Just gently tap, and you're holding the intention of releasing whatever it is that's no longer serving you. And then you're going to go to the outside corners of the eyes, tapping into that emotion, that distress. Good. Underneath the eyes. Just letting whatever's coming up come up under the nose, under the lip. Good. And under the collarbones on each side of the sternum in that soft spot between your ribs. Just holding that intention of releasing and letting go. It's not serving you any longer. You can let it go. And now we're going to go underneath the armpits, right about the bra strap. Come up a little bit so you can see where I'm tapping. Good. And then the next one is going to be right at the lower ribs, right at the base of the ribs. Good. And then the very top of the head. Okay, and now we're going to move into that eye movement process. So you're going to find the soft spot between your pinky and your ring finger. I like to put my hand on my heart. It gives a little counter balance to it, and it's also helping us connect with our heart center. And this part you can either tap or rub, whichever's most comfortable. I know as we start to do this, it's almost patting your head, rubbing your tummy. So whatever's feeling good for you. All right, so this next process is just going to be eye movement. So keeping your head level, I want you to close your eyes and then open, looking straight ahead. Now you're going to look down to the lower left corner of your vision and then back up to center. And then down to the lower right corner, back up to the center. And then you're going to roll your eyes in a circle one way, like you're looking at all the numbers of the clock, and then go back the other way. This is that left brain, right brain integration. And now you're going to hum a little tune. And then you're going to count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to go back to that hum. Good. And now we're going to go through that tapping sequence one more time. We come to the corners of the eyebrows on the inside. Good. Outside of the eyes. Holding the intention of letting that go. Under the eyes. Under the nose again. Under the lip. Continuing to hold that intention of letting go underneath the collarbones. And then the bra strap. Good. And then the front of the ribs again. And then the very top of your head. All right, so now take a deep breath in, and we're going to check in to see how things have shifted. So check back in on a scale of 0 to 10. How intense is that feeling now? And if you want to let me know in the chat so I can see if we're ready to go on to the next phase of this, that would be helpful. And you're also tapping into that feeling that you had found in any restriction or uneasiness. How has that shifted? Has it decreased? And the other thing you want to take a look at is the emotion around it the same? It's really common to maybe start off with a sadness or a grief that then moves to an anger, that as you start to clear these layers, more stuff comes up. All right, so we've got a 3 or 4 down from a 6 or a 7. That's great. Okay, so once you're around a 2 to a 3, then you're going to be at a really good place to put in a new belief. And I want to talk a little bit about, if you're not seeing that number come down just yet, that we would go through this process again. And sometimes we have to go through it 3 times, sometimes 4 times as we're working through the layers. So if you start to do this on your own, don't over tap on any one thing. You don't want to overdo it, and you want to give yourself time to integrate the changes in between each session. And so if you notice that something else has come up, or it came back, that it's just another layer that's surfacing, so then you could go back to that. So I am looking here. So we still have a 4 or a 5. So I think we have time just to run through this one more time. It'll go a little bit quicker because you're familiar with it. And let's see if we can get those numbers down just a little bit more before we put in a new belief. Is that fair? Okay. All right. So coming back to those arms, you're just going to gently rub and bringing whatever the unworthiness, guilt, shame is. Even though I'm feeling this challenge, I accept myself. Even though I feel hard to slow down, I accept myself. Even though I put everybody else's needs before mine, I accept myself. Good. All right. Now we're going to go to that karate chop. And now we're going to say, I am completely releasing this shame, this guilt, unworthiness, whatever the challenge is. all of the roots and origins, and all that it means and does to me. I am choosing to completely release anything that's blocking me from letting go of this challenge, all of the roots and origins, and all that it means and does to me. Let's do that one more time. I am choosing to release this challenge, all of the roots and origins, and all that it means and does to me. We're going to come back to the inside of the eyebrows, holding the intention of releasing and letting it go. Side of the eyes. Good. Under the eyes. Under the nose. Under the lip. Good. Holding the intention to release. Under the collarbones, each side of the sternum. And then underneath the armpits at the bra strap. And then the front of the ribs. And the top of your head. Right at the midline. Good. And then find that soft spot between the pinky and the ring finger. Either tap or rub with your head level, looking straight ahead. Close your eyes. And then open. Look down to the lower left corner. Back to center. Look down to the lower right. Back to center. And then eyes in a circle one way. And then go back the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. And then we're going to go back through that tapping sequence. Side of the eyes. Good. Under the eyes. Under the nose. Under the lip. Under the collarbones. And then bra strap. Good. Is anybody else getting warm? Front of the ribs. And then the top of your head. And take a deep breath in and reassess. And what is the intensity now? Has it come down? You can even just hold up fingers if you want. I can see those if you don't want to put them in the chat. And taking notice of how it has shifted in your body. Are you still feeling the uneasiness, the restriction, the tension? And so I'm going to guess that we should be down to the 2 or 3 range. And this is where you can put the new belief in. So I am going to pop this in the chat so that you can read it. And then you can also copy it if you want to have that as your new mantra or affirmation. And so it is, I am whole, I am worthy, and I no longer need to prove my value to belong. And if that doesn't resonate with you and you want to make your own, feel free to do that. Just make sure that it's a powerful statement and it is present tense. Not I'm going to, or I'm going to plan to, or I hope to. It is right here, right now. This is your new belief. And so to put in the new belief, we're going to do the same process as we did of taking out the old beliefs or the old challenges. And so either tapping into that belief, or what if you are making one of your own, as you connect with it, how true does that belief feel from 0 to 10? 10 being you believe it wholeheartedly. And so that's just a gauge of where you are in that process. And so we will reassess after we do the tapping to see if that has gotten stronger. All right. So taking that affirmation, this new belief, is there any place in your body that you're feeling uneasiness, tension, or restricted? So just take notice once again. Take notice of how true that belief is for you. And then we're going to come up to those armpit points again. And so if you're not at a 10, then what we're going to say is, even though I don't fully believe that I am whole, I am worthy, and that I no longer need to prove my value to belong, I accept myself. Even though I may not fully believe it right now, that I am whole and worthy, and that I don't have to prove my value to belong, I accept myself. We'll do that one more time. Even though I'm not fully believing that I am whole, worthy, and that I no longer have to prove my value to belong, I accept myself. Now you're going to come back up to the karate chop. You're going to tap and you're going to repeat after me. I am choosing to release anything that's blocking me from believing this new belief, all of its roots and origins, and all that it means and does to me. 2 more times. I am choosing to release anything that's blocking me from believing that I am whole, worthy, and that I don't have to prove my worth to belong. All of the roots and origins, and all that it means and does to me. Last time, I am choosing to release anything that's blocking me from believing this new belief, all of its roots and origins, and all that it means and does. Now we're going to go back to the inside of the eyebrows, holding that intention of releasing whatever might be creating resistance, the side of the eyes, good, under the eyes, under the nose, under the lip, under the collarbones, holding that intention of releasing. Bra strap, good. Front of the ribs, and top of the head. And going back to the integration sequence, finding that spot on the back of your hands, head level. Close your eyes and then open. Just your eyes, look down to the lower left, back up to center, down to the lower right corner, back up to center, eyes in a circle one way, eyes in a circle the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And come back to the inside of the eyebrows. Side of the eyes. Oh, I can feel the energy shifting. Very good. Under the eyes, under the nose, under the lip, under the collarbones, and then the bra strap and the front of the ribs. And then you would tap back into that new belief. How true does the new belief feel for you now? And if it's on the lower side at this point, you could go through that process and get that just a little bit stronger if you needed to. And if you want to let me know how that went for you in the chat, that's great. And if you want to keep that close to your heart, that is fine as well. So, all right, let's just take a nice deep breath in as we transition into this next short final piece. Judy says she feels strong and powerful. Beautiful. So glad. All right, so this next practice is called Heart Coherence. Mary Lou said she could feel the shift in her body and a tingling sensation. Yeah, a lot of times that's the energy coming back into those areas that have been lacking for so long. Fantastic. And oftentimes I will see residual effects over the next couple days of things shifting, of maybe it's that crick in the neck that finally goes away or the ache in the back too. So just be mindful of any changes to come too. All right, so heart coherence is a simple, beautiful way to bring your heart, your mind, and your body into harmony. So when we breathe through our heart with intention, we can activate a sense of calm, clarity, and inner connection, almost like tuning an instrument back to its true frequency. And this practice is your bridge from doing to being, from overthinking to inner knowing, from effort to ease. And so we have three rhythms in our body: the rhythm of our heart, the rhythm of our brain, and the rhythm of our breath. And the only one we can really directly affect is our breath. And in using the breath, we can then affect the other two rhythms. And this is about aligning the heart, the mind, and the body into a state of calm and clarity. So you can close your eyes if it feels good. And then you're just going to place your hands or your hand on your heart. And now take an in breath for 5 counts. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you're going to exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And another in breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And one more exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now imagine breathing in and out through your heart. Not going for a deep belly breath or expanding your whole rib cage, but really just feel that breath in and out through your heart. And as you breathe, think of something or someone that brings you joy, gratitude, love. Maybe it's a pet or a past pet, a child, or a loved one. I find pets and children seem to be the easiest things to tap into because they tend to be the least complicated of relationships. But whatever it is, just tap into that. And as you're feeling the love, the joy, the gratitude, let your breath start to soften. Let your mind get quiet and allow your heart to start opening. And then feel the love, joy, gratitude grow and get bigger with each breath, filling your whole heart space. And when it fills your whole heart space and you can't contain it anymore, let it ripple out in all directions around you from your heart, rippling out into the world and beyond. And this is a really easy practice that you can take a minute to do and notice its effects. You can make it into a longer meditation. You can incorporate it with your morning tea or coffee, but of really just coming into your heart space, feeling that elevated emotion, and then letting it ripple out. All right, so coming back to the present moment. Just notice what has shifted for you, what's different. If you want to know, let me know in the chat. You can do that as well. And so, as you continue on your healing journey, please be gentle with yourself. It's not about fixing, it's about reconnecting. And all it takes is one small act of presence, one small act of intention to yourself. And these tools that you've learned today, you can return to at any time. If you start to go through the tapping sequence and you're worried you're getting it wrong or you're out of sequence, don't worry about it. Hold the intention, do what you know, and see how that goes for you. I think you'll find some really good relief for that. And so, if tonight stirred something in you, if you felt a shift, a spark, or even just a moment of clarity, I would love to invite you to go into a deeper conversation with me. So, I offer a complimentary Ignite Your Spirit call where we can really get into what's next for you. This is a sacred space to be fully seen, supported, and reconnected with your truth. There's nothing to prepare for. Just bring your beautiful self exactly as you are. And I will drop my link tree link here in the chat. And you'll find the button right up the top to schedule that if you're called to. And you'll also see the other ways that you can connect with me if you're curious. And so this is your time. Like I said before, you don't have to figure it out all alone, and you are worthy. And so it was a pleasure supporting you all today. It was really great to be a part of this community and this beautiful circle. And I hope that you carry this calm, this breath, and this knowing with you like a flame lighting the way to what's next. And so I will stay on. I'm going to give it back to Judy. I think she's going to open it up to a Q&A. So Judy, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, ladies. That was so wonderful, wasn't it? I just feel, like I said, powerful and calm and at ease. And I love that affirmation. I just want to read what Bonnie wrote here. I don't know if you saw that. I can actually say that out loud and believe it wholeheartedly. Didn't even have an idea of what I needed to release. It all came during this session. Thank you. That's so beautiful. And Denise feels a lot of heat in her heart. And I don't know about anybody else, but I could actually feel, um, I guess, love, right? Coming up from her heart when you instructed us to do that. It was so, so wonderful. So wonderful. Does anyone have any questions or comments or anything they want to say? One thing that I wrote down and starred was the root of, when you were talking about the root of unworthiness. And I just wonder if we don't recognize soon enough or recognize that a lot of our worth comes from previous generations and it's just passed along, right? And we just pick it up and we take it with us without even recognizing it. So just I love that you talk about that because I think in so many of us, that's where we get our beliefs from, and that's where things are rooted is in what our mothers and fathers and grandmas and grandpas did before us. So I love that you mentioned that.
I I had no idea like what I knew I have no self-worth. Hello. I know I have no self-worth, but all of that, like something's not quite right. I'm not enough. I should be further along. I must earn rest. I must earn belonging and earn love. That resonated for me that I'm not good enough. But when we went into this tapping session, I was like letting go, like, what? I don't, what? Right. So we're going into this, and I'm like, okay, Lord, you're going to have to show me something because I have no idea what I need to let go of. And what I let go of is generational curse,
Yeah.
generational. This is how it is for you, and it's never going to get any better. And you're going to pass that along, and you're just going to keep on. It's just going to keep rolling. The book ends here. That's it. I ended it today. So uh, I don't have to prove my worth to anybody.
Mm-mm.
You know.
Beautiful. So
So
good to hear you say
thank you.
that.
So it. I'm telling you, it's like a beautiful thing to experience. I'm sure I'll have emotions later, but right now I'm so stunned because it was like I had nothing. I felt like, the dunce in the back of the room. I'm like, I got nothing. I got nothing. And then it just started coming. So I said, okay, well, if that's what it is, then I'll just repeat that. I'll just repeat, I'm done, that we're done. No more. No more, because I remember my grandmother pronouncing it on me, saying, "Oh yeah, you're just like my sister. And it's not going to get any better, and you're never gonna." And it was like, dude, like, right? And now I can actually do that and know that it's true. So thank you, and thank you.
Beautiful. Um, and this is such a great practice, and I always have such an amazing result. And it's like, why don't I do this more often? Why isn't this one of my rituals, my daily rituals, right? And it should be just to have that easy practice of affirmations and tap it out. So yeah, I'll have to put that in my DMO also. So good.
So I want to say a little bit about that of daily tapping. So tapping can be super helpful for smaller things as well. So you get home after being in traffic and you're agitated because that guy cut you off and you almost got
Yeah.
into an accident, and those little things that you just can't let go. That is a really good time to tap, of just coming in of like, even though I'm so pissed off, even though this happened, I accept myself, right? I'm choosing to release this anger towards this other driver, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, and the more that you're tapping on a regular basis on these little things, then it keeps them from snowballing from these big energy balls that then you
Yeah.
really have to have a deeper conversation with.
Yeah, but it's a quick release too, right? It's easy to do, and yeah, and just the result you get is so impactful. So it's so great. So great.
Yeah, one of the things I hear time and time again as my clients are tapping through whatever it is, that will go through the first or second round, and I'll ask them, what's the intensity of it? They're like, I don't know. It's not even there. And oftentimes it's something that they've been carrying for so long that they finally have space with, that they can actually process things. They're like, instead of it being right in your face, like, well, it's out there somewhere that I can have more reflection space for whatever it is of either how it originated or other ways to support that healing aspect in it. So it is one of my absolute favorite techniques as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I use it. I see it work. It works for me. And, going back to even simple things, my college daughter is struggling in math and has always struggled in math. And she has this one last math credit that she has to get. And she's in summer school just so she can have this class. And after the first week, she was just a mess of going, I'm going to fail. And of course, the disaster mind goes, okay, well, then you're never going to become anything because you can't take this class. You're not going to graduate, right? You're going to live, you're going to be homeless. So of pulling that back, but I said, okay, we need to do some tapping. Okay. So she gets into it and she goes back into her homework and whatnot. And she calls me the next day. She goes, oh my gosh, that was like magic. I went back to do my math. Finally, I was able to comprehend this. And then she went into class the next day and got like an 80% on her quiz that she was getting like zero. She got a 0.5% out of 10 on a couple. So, I mean, in things that you might not think of, oh, that's a challenge, right? So it's not just for these, interrelationship things or inner work stuff that it can be. That's something that, because I have this math curse as well. I have that. And I was very careful growing up of like, nope, I'm not going to give it to her. She got it through the lineage anyway. So we're working on clearing it. So thank you for that. That's all I wanted to say on that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, ladies, just to respect everyone's time, this has been so wonderful. We could probably talk for much longer. Is it okay if I take a picture? I'm just going to turn this recording